Hey everybody, I'm Yvonne Williams with Back to Earth Creations, and in today's video I want to show y'all how I make this groove in our cabs that we sell on our website. We call them Groovy Cabs, because they've got a groove in them. But yeah, a lot of y'all have asked, so I wanted to show you the process that we go through. So this is the machine that I use. It's a Superstar 2 by Glasstar, and the bit that I use is a jewelry bit that we get from Delphi Glass, and you can see here this whole thing is a reservoir of water that gets wicked up by this sponge and deposited onto the blade, which cleans it and cools it as we grind either our stones or our glass cabs. This is a pretty standard representation of the thickness and shape of most of our glass cabochons that we make, though sometimes we'll get them a little bit thicker and with a slightly straighter side if we're like using a mold, but these were just made on a kiln shelf with some kiln paper, and so they kind of puddle out really nicely. This is an example of an amethyst cabochon that I feel like is ideal for adding a groove to. As you'll see, it has a nice, not perfectly straight, but it has a very tall side without a whole lot of curve to it, and it's substantially thick. I like to have it makes about a 2mm groove in the side of the stone, maybe a little bit less, but I like to have at least 2mm of stone on either side of the groove once it's placed, just to make it nice and sturdy and stable. I don't want, if you put some wire into the groove and then adds like some tension to it, sometimes it can chip off if it's too if the stone or glass edging is too thin. So this is my setup, and I just wanted to let you guys know, if you would like to groove your own cabs and stuff and don't have this or aren't interested in it, or because this is quite loud and a bit messy, here on YouTube, Liz Create has some fantastic videos, you guys. I can't recommend her enough on how to hand groove your own cabochons, as well as good candidates for like what types of gemstones and stuff to use. But here I have some waffle grid kind of set up. I'm very bad about overfilling it, but I've seen a lot of folks do it where they put this in like a tote that has like the front cut out, that way it like pools and stuff. And then I have this little dish here that I use to rinse out the sponge, as well as whenever I'm doing a whole bunch of cabs, I'll just groove them and then pop them in there. So I'm going to go ahead and start grooving and show you guys how I do that. So I'm going to go through and start with one of our glass cabs, and the reason why I have this waffle board up and around is you can kind of see, maybe, I don't know, with my eyeballs I can see it, but the camera's not really picking up on it, the kind of muddy water spray that the grinder has left. Also, I'm going to do this in real time, and I'm not going to mute the sound, because if I lived in an apartment, there's no way that I could do this. It is so loud, which is why we wear earmuffs and safety glasses. Safety first, y'all. Very, very important. So I'm gonna go get that on my head. Also, do not forget to wear your mask. Just because this is catching most of everything into the water, it's better to not risk it. Also, depending on what gemstones you're cutting, there is a link down in the video description to a handy chart that is a good spot to get you started on gemstone toxicity and different ways that they might be toxic or harmful, or even just a slight irritation to you. The chart's down in the video description, but you may want to wear gloves. None of the stones that I've been working with call for that, and I don't know, it hasn't bothered me, so I'm not worrying so much about wearing gloves. But protect your ears, protect your eyes, protect your lungs. We are geared up. I have my earmuffs on. I like to boop, 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 make sure that there is water flowing through our sponge, and I want to switch it on, so loud noises. Okay, so it can get a little hard to hold on to the glass because I do have some glass cutting oil in here as well that does preserve the life of your blade. Sorry, brain farting a little bit. You can groove however deeply or shallowly as you would like, but here, I feel like I'm yelling. Let me take my earmuffs off. I try to make it deep enough that I could keep an 18 gauge wire in there because this grooving bit will accommodate an 18 gauge wire. Now I have it set. Whenever I press on it, you can kind of see it sinks in a little bit. Our friend Katrina actually had recommended putting in a piece of like PVC pipe that goes around this, but supports it from the bottom, and that's a very good idea. But I haven't done it yet because I've kind of gotten used to pushing it in, and that's the height that I need for most of our cabs. But yeah, that is how we do it. I'm going to get a couple of different angles for you, so that hopefully you'll be able to see and understand what's going on. Um, Also, I try to be very consistent about how deep I'm going all the way around. So I'll kind of eyeball in on the edge of the blade just and kind of watch and see how much of it's going in. I'll get from a different perspective, but I rinse the dust off and I'm going to set this over to dry. And now the next piece I'm going to cut is this amethyst. So if you want to change the height of your blade, these bits come with an Allen wrench, and you can just adjust it up or down on this shaft. So I'm going to keep that one at about the height that I want. Tighten it down. And the really nice thing about the Glass Star is it has this really great little drawer that just slides right in, and that holds all of the accessories for this piece. So now let's go ahead. I'm going to position the camera. I'm going to fire it up, so loud noises. So that is looking pretty good. I do like to go around and test it, kind of eyeball it. Whenever I was first starting out doing this, I'm going to rinse it off. I used to keep a piece of scrap wire on hand, and I would put that into each to test the groove. But the more you do this, the better you'll get at it. the I've I've ground over 100 cabs on one of these bits before. But boy, you could tell it was a lot harder on the 100th, cab than it was on like the 10th, because that diamond coating does wear off and wear down. And also a lot of that depends on what you're grinding as well. If it's a softer stone like a jasper or something, it's so much easier to cut through them. You're going to be able to cut a lot more on your blade or on your bit than, if you're cutting through just a whole bunch of like quartzes and stuff like that. Also, stones that I particularly won't cut, just because I don't want to risk ruining the stone. Sodalite, like anything with a lot of like calcite, kind of softer inclusions in them, I don't trust. I don't have enough experience to be able to cut those with confidence, because I've had quite a few crumble on me. Also, anything that if I'm inspecting the stone with fused glass, not a problem. I can cut our own, I can groove our own fused glass all the ding dong day. It's fine. But if I'm cutting gemstones, I don't want to risk losing the stone by grooving it. So I'll inspect it and make sure that there aren't any fracture lines or anything like that. And sometimes, there'll be like a soft spot inside the stone, and you never know, until you do it. But again, just something to keep an eye out for. If you guys have any questions, comments, or ideas or suggestions, I would love to hear from y'all. Down in the comments, or you can send us an email if you have any questions. All of our info is down in the video description. If you are interested in purchasing one of our Groovy Cabs from us, all of the cabochons that are listed on our website that are suitable, because some of the gemstones aren't thick enough, some of the fused glass, maybe we have something else going on with it, like it already has a hole in it or something. But any cab that's suitable on our website has, if you click on that cab, like on the picture of the cab, it'll load a page where, like the product page, and you can select to have the groove added. If that option isn't there, then that cab isn't suitable. So hopefully that's helpful to you guys. We do new shop updates every Monday, and if you'd like to stay up to date with what's going on with us, please sign up for our newsletter at backtoearthcreations.com, and we'll actually send notifications and shop updates and live stream links and all sorts of stuff to you directly to your inbox, so you don't miss out on anything. Also, if you enjoy, gosh, this is really going on. If you enjoy our tutorials and would like to support the creation of more of them, please consider joining our craft along club, where we do like kits and all sorts of different things over there. So again, all the links for that stuff are down in the video description below. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I do hope that this was helpful to you. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye.